We made it. Listen, you can hear a pin drop. They're excited. Good evening, friends. Good evening and welcome this fine Thursday evening to Littleport Christian Spiritualists in Littleport Village Hall, both live in the hall itself, but also live online to all those watching at home. We know that there are a number of our number poorly this week, in particular, of course, member of our healing circle, who is meditation extraordinaire Mandy, who's a bit poorly this week. So we, of course, will send you some healing during, and all the other names that we've been mentioned to as well in terms of sending out healing. So thank you all for being here. I can't believe it. It's only just turned nearly 6:45 and it's already getting dark. Welcome to autumn, my lovers. We're not far from the autumn solstice. So, you know, lots going on, lots to do. And of course, no change there on a Thursday night, especially the first Thursday of the month. Lots of things to mention, including a plug of another group, but with a little bit of shamelessness included in it. But I'll come to that in the notices. First and foremost, of course, though, when it comes to any evening that we share together, one thing does not change, and that is we need a medium, because a medium is there to prove that life is eternal, to prove the evidence that we go on, like one of my addresses. And of course, tonight, we welcome, and it would give us great pleasure anyway, but after last time in particular, it gives me a great pleasure to say that here serving us tonight, give him a proper Littleport welcome, Daniel Wright! It's, it wasn't you, it was your car, dear. Gonna say, the car's gone, he's got a new one, we're fine. But thank you for coming back to us, Danny, and pleasure as always. And so now, without any delay, let's open this evening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, divine, universal source of all, we send out our thanks, our gratitude, and our joy to be able to gather here under your banner of love and friendship. We know, Great Spirit, that this world can sometimes seem dark, difficult, a struggle. But we also know that together, united as one, hand in hand, marching forward, we can be a beacon light to each other, for and on behalf of ourselves and the world of spirit. So with that in mind, Great Spirit, I ask for a blessing to be placed on each person here present. I ask that the veil be lifted and our loved ones draw close, and the ministry of angels and all those in the world of spirit who help this work come forward to show that life truly is a long thing. And so, Great Spirit, we make that statement as ever. Everything we do is in love, truth, and in light. Amen. So, notices. This is one of those months where it gets a bit confusing, and we've already had this conversation once, but it was important to have that way I could make sure that I indicated it for everyone. Not only have we switched the dates of the monthly debates that are online, so that there's 2 this month, we also have our usual in-house services. Now, the workshop this month is on the 2nd Sunday of the month, which is not this Sunday, because the first day of this month was on a Monday. So we missed it by 1. So the workshop will be on the 14th, and the White Feather Shamanic Drum Healing Circle will be on the 21st. So that will still be 2nd and 3rd. Now also the first debate, online debate of the month will be on the 8th, and then 2 weeks hence. It's a 5-week month. I thought you all deserved a break. So we're having 2 debates this month still. So we had a little bit of a jig around. And our medium next week will be John Ennis. So there's lots going on, lots to do, lots to enjoy, lots to engage in. I look forward, I'm hoping to be there for the White Feather this month. Fingers crossed. If not, I'll say hello when I'm leaving from cleaning, making sure that it smells of cotton freshness before you enter the room. We've also got some new curtains coming. But I digress, of course. Another notice to give you is we are joined today, of course, by some lovely people who run another group, a mediumship night in terms of running their hall. Tomorrow night is, of course, the Barraway Drove demonstration of mediumship. I love to promote them, and I'm going to promote them, but I will say they need to get better taste in mediums, because the medium tomorrow night is absolute rubbish. It's me. But no, I will be serving Barraway Drove tomorrow night, so do support Barraway Drove if you can tolerate listening for me 2 nights in a row. But it'll be a great night. We always have a good time. And they've got one advantage over us. They've got a bar. So if you need something to get you through the night, having to listen to me, they provide that too.
They've got a choice of spirits.
Absolutely. You can have mine or theirs. But I know Barraway Drove is always a wonderful, wonderful evening. We always have a good laugh. And I've been invited to say some things. 10 minutes. Well, I don't actually usually hit 10 minutes. I used to hit 25. But most people were usually requiring medication and oxygen by the time I was done. So I did shorten it down a little bit. But in the vein of philosophy, I'd like to break with tradition tonight, because normally I will give some philosophy and then invite Eunice to come forward and give a reading, and we would see if the philosophy and the reading coincide. That's not actually going to happen tonight. I am going to say a few words, and they will tie in with the reading, because I'm the one giving the reading. A few words on philosophy that tie into it and kind of lead into it. One of the things that you will quite often heard said about people who are in this way of life is that we are obsessed with death. But that's not true. We are obsessed with life. And one insult, and I do take it as an insult, there's not many things I take as an insult, but one insult that has been thrown at me personally in the past is when somebody dies, it obviously doesn't matter to you as much as it does everyone else. That is an insult to every spiritualist. Because as those who follow this way of life, who have dedicated their commitment and faith to a way of life that is about uplifting and helping people who are struggling by giving them strength, by giving them courage and their self-determination back, we are obsessed with the living. But faith can manifest itself in many ways. And there are many different walks of life, many different philosophies, and many different faiths. And the one thing that unites us all is that we are sad when we lose someone to eternity. We can celebrate and be uplifted that they go on. But I tell you this much, it still hurts. And anyone who is mediumistic in even the slightest will know that when you lose someone you care about, it hurts. This week I attended a service that was not the usual kind of service I attend. It was a funeral service for a really, really, really true friend of mine. He was my first boss. He was my dad's best. He was my dad's best man, and he had quite a lot to do with this here building. And I was so chuffed to be able to call him friend. And I learned a lot about him and a lot from him. And I learned a lot about faith from him. There were three things that mattered to him: family, community, and faith. And they were all kind of up there equal. Now, we didn't exactly follow the same religious philosophy, but that didn't matter because we believed in something. And we both had such a, I believe, conviction, and I certainly know from what I've seen and what I saw yesterday, his faith meant the world to him. I can't tell you as individuals what to believe in, but I can tell you, believe in something. Because when you put your faith in something else, it sustains you when reason tells you there is no other way. But it also helps you to live a life. And boy, did he live a life. One of the things that was at that service I attended yesterday was a reading by one of his daughters. And there's why I'm not doing a big philosophy tonight. And that's what I'm giving you as the reading. It was a beautiful reading, a beautiful poem. And I thought, we have to have that at Littleport. And on the way home, Mum said, oh, Eunice has said she's been so busy coming back from raising £4,000 in London, I don't know, with Tony last week for charity with her biker friends. She hasn't really had the opportunity to do a reading. So could you get someone else to do it? And I said, to honour my friend, Grenville, I'm going to read that poem that his daughter Claire read. And so let me share with you this real food for thought. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For the dash represents all the time that they spent alive on earth. And now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger, and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect, and more often wear a smile, remembering this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash? Thank you all for listening, and God bless you, Mr. G. Oh, have you?
And I do addresses on that.
There we go.
I mean,
It's such a lovely, lovely poem. And it very much is. And so I dedicate that, and actually tonight, for a friend who showed me what true faith is. Thank you all for listening, and God bless you all. One of the other things that's really important is healing. And so now we are going to hand over in a moment to our healing leader, Tony, to lead us in healing while I sit down and push a few buttons and make some music play. Speaking of the music, it is with great pleasure that I tell you, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, all the major streamers, just search for The Healing Prayer with Rev Lynn Gester-Swart by Rev Nick Brown, and you can listen to it on your streaming service without any complicated downing loading. So if you've got a streaming service for music, chances are it's on there. You can listen to it anytime. And feel free to make use of it in anything you do. Of course, healing is important. And you might have noticed that there's a healing circle before the service every week now. Well, that's because we're getting organised. We are getting organised and we are getting formal to help our mediums of healing to go out and do the work of spirit in the world. But things have to start at the top and work their way down. There is a phrase that we used to have in retail, something about it trickling from the top downwards. Well, we're proving it today. Before I hand over to him to lead us all in healing, Tony, could you come forward, please?
Oh dear.
If individuals are going to be guiding, leading, and developing, they need a little bit of something so that they can show you what you're going to get at the end of your journey. So it gives me great pleasure to formally make Tony a certified exponent of ISA healing. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Tony, you might have to take down one or two of the records, but I'm sure you'll find a space somewhere.
We'll find a space for it somewhere, or it will stay in the car so I can show it off. Thank you.
Absolutely. So those that are in the healing circle, you're next. And now, over to Tony to lead us in healing.
Well, thank you. Oh, everybody's really well, because I've got Sue and Nick. Do you need to add a name or two? Or are you?
Oh, yes, Celtic Rose and Mandy.
Oh, Celtic Rose and our own Mandy, of course. So when the time is right and you're asked, please send your healing thoughts to those 4 people. Oh dear. Quite simply, if you would like some close proximity, hands-on, whatever you like to call it, healing, raise a hand high in the air. If you are prepared to offer such healing, please go to where there is a hand raised. Everybody's so well. It's so brilliant here today. Great stuff. Good. Just a few words from me before Nick presses the correct button. Great Spirit, would you please send your healing powers down through our healers to those who have requested it? And at the very same time, please protect them from anything they don't want to receive. And as I always say, the more of us that do it, the more of us that think about it, the greater the power becomes, and it becomes greater than the sum of its parts. So please proceed.
Spirit, Father, Mother, God, divine source of the universe and great creator. Here we bring unto you all those listed in all the healing books throughout the land. Be they sick in mind, body, spirit, or soul, that it may please thee to heal them, those we know, those we do not know. those that have no one to ask for them, we ask for them now. Be they sick in mind, body, spirit, or soul, that it may please thee to heal them. Those we know, those we do not know, those that have no one to ask for them, we ask for them now. We ask for them now.
Thank you, healers. If you can just say your thanks and pull yourselves back. And thanks to those of you who asked, as I say every week, we would look very foolish if there was nobody here. And one other word, those of you that are in our Thursday night healing group, I want to see your names on some of these.
That was a bit sinister, wasn't it?
Just a little bit.
In all seriousness, I'm hoping that from next week I'll be able to issue the workbooks. There'll be a healing code of conduct, some tips and some guidance, and also a route map in how to get one of those for yourself. It's just printing enough to give out to everybody. Kind of wears down the printer drum. But we should have enough to give out next week, and then the work begins. The work begins. Speaking of the work beginning, in a few moments, I'm going to hand over to our lovely friend, Dan, to give us his demonstration of mediumship. Just before that, one of the things that we can do in this way of life is have a bit of fun. As I was watching the screen whilst you were all sending out your healing thoughts, I could see these wonderful whirling circles of light and colour spinning around, and I thought, oh, it's a manifestation. No, it was the speakers. But I'm sure the colours were spinning around wonderfully. That's where evidential mediumship comes in. We can always assume that something is spirit because it shines and feels like spirit. But the true proof is when the evidence that it's spirit comes, and that's something different. You might have noticed that in the workshop today, we were talking about evidential mediumship. I've been using that word a lot today. It's stuck in my brain. But now we're going to see some true evidence of life eternal. So please welcome to the platform, and for the rest of our evening, a lovely friend of ours. So should he come to you, answer in a clear voice. Yes, no, don't know. Don't feed the medium. He really will bite your hand off. And of course, give him a proper little port welcome. Daniel Wright!
Thank you, Chris. Nice to be here again. Following on from what was Nick was saying earlier on, that spirit and all that, people, or non-believers, put it that way, they ask me, can you prove spirit to me? Can you prove there's a God? And I just say to them, can you prove there's not? And walk away. Because they can't. So I'll just leave it in their hands. If I should come to you, please have an open mind. Please don't concentrate on the loved one you wish to hear from. I can't force people to come from the spirit world. And if you want your mum or your dad or your nan or your granddad, they might be down the pub or something, having a drink or doing a jigsaw or something like that. I can't force them to come, but if they've got something really important that really is going to help you, they will be here, no doubt about that. But it's not always mum, dad, nan and granddad that can give you a message. It could be anyone in the family, uncle, aunts, cousins, nephews, nieces, brothers, sisters, anyone. be anyone you've ever met. Good friends, school friends, work friends. Old tramp you give 50 pence to for a cup of tea. It can be absolutely anyone. So sometimes you do have to dig in your memory. Also, it can be, and I like it when these people come through, people you've absolutely hated, or they may have hated you. These people do come through now and again, and if you don't want to talk to them, fine. That's not my problem. I'll just say, sorry, it's not your night tonight, move on, let someone else in. But I have found that when they do talk, very short, very simple. I am sorry, I was wrong. And that helps somebody on the earth plane to move on. Helps somebody to let go of the past and things like that. But if you don't want to talk to them, fine. I'll just say, sorry, it's not your night. But remember, they will be back another night, so it's up to you. And sometimes I might go to someone, I might get a group of people, and you might get a mixture of people, and you might have to work out who they are. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm going with at the moment. I'm going to come to the lady looking for herself. Okay? And I'll give you the name Joan. Does Joan mean anything to you? Yeah. Doesn't have to be one important. Just a name. Could be the name of a milkman's horse for all I know, but let's just say tell her Joan. Hold it if you can't take it. Okay, I've got a man coming here. This man comes in. I see him about 5'9", 5'10", a bit shorter than me. But a man who seems to be nervous. So he's always looking around, looking over his shoulder. You take a man that was very nervous, had a nervous conversation with him. A man that's just couldn't sit still, he had to be doing something. And a man, once he started talking, he would keep talking and talking and talking. You take a man like that? Also feel this man, as you feel with him, that he would be someone who, if you really got to know him, and he would be very close, he would be a nice person to know in a way of support and things like that. Does that make sense? Also feel with him that he was a man who felt very comfortable in casual dress. He would never wear a suit or anything like that. And quite often he would wear the same clothes or the same sort of clothes. I'm not going to say the same clothes every day, but the same sort of clothes every day. His fashion sense never altered. It was always the same. Does that make sense? And open neck shirt. So he would wear a pullover or a jumper, open neck shirt. Okay, with him. But I also feel towards the end of his life, there would be a loss of hearing with him. That he would have gone a little bit deaf. Does that make sense? Pardon? Okay, hold that. You know, you're not a little bit deaf, are you? Okay, he might be talking about you. Okay, but hold it anyway. But I do feel when he passed, I just feel as though he collapsed or he had an illness and he was on the mend and he had a relapse and passed the spirit. Does that make sense? You can't take that bit. But I felt he was ill before, it weren't a sudden passing, he was ill before he passed the spirit. And I felt that there was a chance of him getting over it. Does that make sense? It didn't work out. Okay, I got it wrong, but I just felt that the actual passing, people thought he wasn't going to pass, but he did. Does that make sense? Okay. There would be horses around this man. Okay, but also donkeys. You're showing me donkeys as well. Hold it, if you don't make hold it. Because sometimes on the way home, when you're more relaxed, it all comes, oh yeah, I can take that, you know. Okay, I'm going to ask him why he's come. He's talking about just stop worrying. Just live your life and take what comes, because whatever you're thinking might not come anyway. Just go forward, be relaxed, and stop worrying about what can go wrong. Be more concerned and be more hopeful on what can go right, because you've got more chance of putting things right. And it's as though there's things in your life that you need to work at to get them right. Does that make sense? Not that you've done anything wrong or it's all your fault. It's just the way life has taken you. It's about relying yourself on the path that you want now, where you want to go. It's not about listening to other people. If you want to, fine, but don't feel you have to. It's about being more focused on where you're going, not on what other people are doing. Does that make sense? You see, you've lived your life and you've done your dues and you've had a hard life. It's now take advantage of whatever you can in your future and make life a lot easier. You take connections with Daventry or Reading. Does that make sense? Oh, right, it's just showing me Daventry and Reading. There's a little village there called Reading as well on the same road. He's showing me that. Okay, I'm going to leave that with you. And he's also talking with you about that. Have you ever thought putting your life down on paper? Because you've had to overcome some really, really hard struggles. And that would help other people if they were to read about that. It will give them hope to know that if you can do it, they can do it. Does that make sense? One nice thing he's saying to you about, do you go to a cemetery regular? Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, it could be once a year, it's regular. So, and he's saying, you know, as time gets on, that's going to be a bit hard. He said, but you don't have to go. There's nobody there. He said, you can talk to whoever you think is there, whoever should be there, whatever, anytime you want. You don't have to go to the cemetery. Does that make sense? Okay. He's saying, as time goes on, you find it a bit hard to get in. He said, don't worry. They're not there anyway. You can talk to them anytime. He's showing me a gold medallion. Does that make sense? You got a gold medallion? It's some sort of award for something. Does that make sense? You can take that. He's not telling me. He's just saying, tell her about, show you this. There's on a chain or cross. There's a gold medallion. I've got to give that to you. I'm going to leave this lovely view. Thank you for working with me. I'm going to come to the lady at the back. Can I come to you? I've got to give you Barbara. Can you take a Barbara? It's just a name. It might be a name, someone down the road or something. It's just a name. It's no one important. Okay? Okay. I have a lady coming through. As this lady comes through, I see a greyish hair, wavy, shoulder length hair, glasses. As she comes in, I see feel there would have been a problem with her arm or something like that. You take a lady like that, it's as though her hand or her arm was either, excuse me, very bad arthritis or there was something else wrong with it. Does that make sense? That she couldn't grip anything with it. She find it hard to pick up things with it. Does that make sense? If it's not, please tell me, I can go back. But I just felt there was a problem to her arm. But this lady was very, in her own way, very spiritual. And whatever religion she was, she kept to that religion. Does that make sense? I'm not saying she went to church regular or anything like that, but her actual belief was there. This lady, I've got to give you Eileen as a name. Talking about Eileen. And I've got to give you Megs. And I think that's short. Megs. I think that's short for Margaret or something like that. If you can't take them, just hold it. When we come to you, we put you under pressure, so it makes you think, what's it? But as this lady comes in, I just feel there would needlework, embroidery with this lady. She would do needlework. Does that make sense? She would do embroidery. You don't know who it is? You don't know anyone that done embroidery or anything like that? Fun? Okay. This lady would have passed in her early 70s or late 60s. It's that little time limit. This lady would have passed in an hospital bed. There would be 3 or 4 people around that bed when she passed. And so they knew she was going to pass and they wanted to be there. Does that make sense? Can you speak up a little bit? You can't take none of that in. Okay, okay. Okay. I might have 2 or 3 people in. I'm going to ask them or ask the Spirit why they come. Okay? Are you finding it hard to go forward in your career? Yes or no? That's what I need. It's so you find it a bit hard to move forward, and things are not slotting into place like you thought they would have done. Does that make sense? Just you can't take that. It's about you moving forward, and you're finding it hard to move forward. Things are not quite working out. Does that make sense? Oh, maybe. Okay. This is what I'm getting. So I felt it was career, that you're going forward, but you're finding it hard in your career or whatever, education, whatever it may be. And they're saying that you stress yourself out too much. Does that make sense? It's about you need to be more relaxing. You need to settle down and make life easy for yourself. Stop looking for problems when there are no problems. Does that make sense? No, okay. Can anybody else take any of this at all? I can't change that. I just feel that you're not proceeding either in a career or your life as you wish to. So you're hitting obstacles and you don't know how to deal with them. Does that make sense? You're hitting blockages and you don't know how to deal with them. Not sure. Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Okay. But I just feel that it's just saying you need to relax more, you need to be more open-minded, and you need to open up more. It's so that you only see half the picture. You don't see all the picture. It's just so you're working on the centre bit, and you forget there's the outside. And there's more sometimes on the outside than there is in the middle. And you need to focus on all the picture, not just one part of the picture. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to leave that with you. Okay, it's so that you're not moving forward as fast as you should have done. You're not moving forward as sure as you should have done. It's about you opening up more and being more relaxed and stop looking for problems, look for the solutions. I'm going to leave that with you. Thank you for working with me. Okay. Come to the lady in the blue and the lovely scarf. Can I come to you? Okay. Can you take the name Eileen? Eileen? That was your name. Oh, right. Okay. I just said, right. Okay. I just said Eileen. I just said Eileen. Okay. I have a man coming in, and I feel this man will either be a father or a grandfather. As he comes in, he's got that sort of look. A man who wasn't always clean shaven, that there will always be a growth on his face. You take a man like that. Huh? Okay, I just feel this man, I just feel with him, he would have worked either on the road or he would have worked on the land. He would have had a job on the outside. You can't take that man. Can anyone else take a man like this? Okay. This man, there will be connection, again, I've got horses, there will be horses connection with this man. And there will also be a connection with a brewery or a pub. You can't take that. Okay. I'm going to ask them why they've come, because no one else takes them. Has taken him, sorry. He's talking with you about that is information you're looking for. And he's saying just it's there. You're looking in the wrong area. It's about going back, starting again, but this time go to your left, not to your right. Does that make sense? Okay, it's there, but take your time, don't rush it, and don't read between the lines. Does that make sense? You've got to read, when you find the article, you've got to read all the article, even if they're small print. No good just reading bits and pieces. You need to be confident in yourself that things are not going to change for the worse for the next 3 or 4, 5, 6 years. As times go on, things are not going to change. And you need to know that, because then you can start planning your life a bit better. Does that make sense? I'm sorry you don't know who this man is, but he seems to know about you. You're looking at things thinking that's going to happen, that's going to happen. He said, no, it's not going to happen. You've got to push them thoughts out of your mind and be more positive about where you want to go in the future. You do worry too much sometimes. I can understand that, because there is a worrying situation around you, but not a situation that you can't get over. You will get over it. You've just got to have more belief and faith in yourself and in spirit. Does that make sense? He's also talking with you about, do you need to go away somewhere? Or you've been thinking about going away? Do you want to go away? It's about going away, taking a break. It's about finding time to take a break from your worries. The further you're away, the more you can look at them and think, well, it's not such a worry, is it? You see, because you're so close to your worries, you're letting them fall on. You see, if you distance yourself, the further you go, you'll say, well, them worries are not so big, I can handle those. Does that make sense? It's about finding time for yourself. Take yourself away if you can, and sort your worries out. You see, you'll find they're not so bad. He's also talking to you, someone around you got a problem with their leg. He's saying that they do need to get that sorted out one way or the other, and they do need to listen and do what they're told. Does that make sense? Okay? He's sending you a lot of love. I'm going to leave his love with you. I've got to give you April. Does April mean anything? Is it a name or is it a date? April. Okay, let's give you that. Okay, I'm going to leave that with you. Thank you for working. I'll come to this lady down here. Can I come to you? Okay? Janet. I've got to give you Janet. Can you take a Janet? Janet. Can you take a Janet? Doesn't have to be anybody special, just a name. Okay, fine, that's okay. You take a young man in spirit? I've got a young man coming through. Okay. As this young man comes in, I see him about 24. I see him very slim and lean, very good looking, and darkish hair combed to one side. You take a man like that? Maybe. I'll take maybes as yeses, okay? No medium can get it dead on every time. So that's just what I'm getting. I feel this young man, I just feel he was a man who had his periods when he was really down and depressed. Does that make sense? Not all the time. It's just now and again when something went wrong, whether it was his fault or not, it really brought him down. But when things were going good, he was lovely to be with, he was happy, he was funny, entertaining. Does that make sense? It's just one thing went wrong and that was it. It brought him down. Also feel with him that he would be someone who very concerned about his career and education. That he had made his mind up that he was going to finish his education to the point where he could jump from education straight into employment with a career that he wanted, that he had in mind, but he needed the education first. Does that make sense? Okay. Excuse me, kid. This man was very creative. That he could make things or work things or produce things. Does that make sense? Or do you do that? But I just felt with him, he could look at a situation and make something out of it for the good. Okay. This man, I just feel, would have passed quite quickly. And I feel it would have been in the evening or at night, because he's showing me the street lights. Okay. I also feel with him that he was somewhere where he shouldn't have been, or he didn't know the area. Does that make sense? There's something about the area, he weren't too sure about the area. Okay, hold that anyway. I'm going to ask him why he's come. He's got a sister on the earth plane. The younger sister, he's talking about a younger sister on the earth plane. Okay. I've got to give you Susan as a name. Sue or Susan. Hold it if you can't think of it straight away. I'm going to ask him why he's come. He's talking about with you about you need to get your life sorted out and get to know where are you going in life. You see, because you ain't made your mind up yet. And you think one day I'm going to do this, next day I'm going to do that. He said, yeah, I can understand that. You're getting settled. You're trying to work it out. But this has been going on some months now. And you need to just sit down and think, I can do that. It's as though there's something you've wanted to do or you hope to do in life. And someone said to you, no, you can't do that for any particular reason, or you're not good enough or something like that. And you're saying, well, you are good enough. You may not be good enough to do it straight away, but you're good enough to learn and move on with it and do something with it. Does that make sense? I'm going to have to sit down. I hope you don't mind.
You're fine.
It's about something new in your life. And stop listening to other people who are saying it's not for you. If you want to do it, you go and do it. Does that make sense? Okay. He's talking about that you've missed chances where you've let things go because you've had doubt of whether you could do it or not. You said you've had doubts whether you could stand up to the plate and go with it. He said, you know, it's about you've had a lot of self-doubt. He said, next thing, whatever it might be, something you want to do, just go with it, see where it takes you. He said, if you try and get halfway to where you want to be, you're successful. He said, but if you stay where you are, you don't move, and you don't try, you're not successful. You see, you only got to go a little way, you can be successful. You've got something to build on. He said, but if you don't move forward, you've got nothing to, you've got to start moving forward. Does that make sense? Well, he seems to think you know. He said, there's something in the back of your mind that you want to do. He's also talking about another situation around you where you need to let it go. Does that make sense? He's talking about, I feel this involves somebody else. It might have been an argument or a misunderstanding or something like that. Might just someone said something the wrong way or something like that. And you say, just let it go. Life is too short to worry about that. Does that make sense? Okay. I'll ask him a bit more. He's talking with you about, have you had a disagreement with somebody? Not an argument, just a disagreement. Where you force your opinion, and it's different from the other person's opinion. Does that make sense? But not an argument, it's just different. And he's saying, just let it go. You're happy with what you want. You're happy with the way you see it. That's all you've got to worry about. Let it go. Don't worry about what the other person's. That's their problem. That might be their problem. That might be their pleasure. That's for them, not for you. Your problem and your pleasure is going with what you think. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm going to leave it with you anyway. Thank you for working with me. Okay. Come to the lady looking away with the yellow writing on her arm. I'll come to you. Okay. Look, you Tony. Can you take a Tony? Oh, no, not that Tony. I know about that Tony. Another Tony. Just a name, that's all. It doesn't be any, like I say, it could be the milkman's horse for all I care. Okay, I'll just leave you with Tony anyway. I have a lady coming in. As this lady comes in, I see a little bit taller than you, but fairy hair. Towards the end, just going grey, as though her hair's on the turn from being fair. No, she's saying she didn't bleach it, so she's letting it grow natural now. Or when she was passing, just letting it grow natural. This lady, she comes in, like I say, a little bit taller than you, but a lady who did like to have a little bit of a gossip. That she didn't say anything nice about other people, but she did like to know what was going on in the village or whatever. You take a lady like that, this lady would have maybe a dog, maybe 2 dogs. You take a lady like that, okay? As she comes in, I just feel this lady, but a lady who could be quite funny sometimes when she was talking about somebody or doing a bit of gossiping, that she brought humour into it. Does that make sense? Okay? Where she might make some silly remark, but there's nothing hateful about this woman. Some gossips are really hateful. She wasn't. It was just something to talk about and always in good nature. Does that make sense? She would never talk about somebody else's privacy. If it was out in the open, she'd talk about it. If she found out something was a bit private, she wouldn't talk about it. Does that make sense? Okay. I also feel this lady that she would someone like to wear jumpers, thick jumpers and woolies and things like that. And she would be wearing a bobble hat. Does that make sense? She's got a bobble hat on. Okay. I feel that when she passed the spirit, I don't see her as an old lady when she passed the spirit. I feel late 60s. Does that make sense? Okay. I mean, late 60s are not old. Not these days. It might have been years ago, but not these days. It's a young age. Okay. But it is really, I mean, more people are living longer. But sadly, I reckon our future generations are not going to live so long. It's the first time in history that our future generations are not going to live as long as the past generation. Never mind, come back. I just feel this lady would like to do homemade cooking and things like that. Apple pies and things, you know. I'm not talking about the normal cooking, I'm just talking about cakes and apples. And she would be a member of something like the WVS or whatever it is. There would be some sort of group she belonged to. Okay? I'm going to ask her, Betty, I've got to give you the name Betty or Elizabeth or something like that. Betty Elizabeth, okay. I'm going to ask her why she's come. Johnny, I've got to give you Johnny. You can't take, okay, old Johnny, okay. Johnny would like a pint or two. Okay, hold that, okay. I'm going to ask her why she's come. She's talking about you, she said she's very happy with you. She said because she seems to think you've turned your life around over the last few years. Does that make sense? She's saying you're doing things now that you thought you wouldn't have done. Would never cross your mind. You see, but you're doing them now. Does that make sense? She's also talking to you about an anniversary coming up soon. Okay, she's talking about an anniversary. But she's saying that you do a lot of good for other people. And you don't always put yourself first. And she said one very important thing in life, now and again, you do have to put yourself first. It's not being selfish. It's just being honest to say, I want that, I want to do that, I need it, or something like that. Does that make sense? It's an issue around you at the moment. You've got to put yourself first. But it's not got to be a 24/7 thing forever. It's about just now. There's a thing around you where you've got to put yourself first. Does that make sense? And then she's saying no need for guilty conscience or anything like that, because people would understand. People will understand that, yes, over the past you have given to other people, and they would understand that there's a need for you to do whatever you need to do for yourself. Does that make sense? Okay. She's talking about is there a birth coming along? Has there just been a birth? Would you know of a birth around you? Okay, she's talking about the new birth. Okay. She's also talking with you about that you've got some good ideas for the future, which you just put together now. Does that make sense? Then she's saying just proceed with that. Don't be scared to ask for help if you need help. Because sometimes we can't all do it ourselves. We do need to have help, and it's not anything bad. You say, I can't achieve this, I need help. Does that make sense? You say you are a very independent person sometimes, and you can fight your own corner. You say, but now and again, it's okay to ask for help. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Oh, God, yes.
He's also talking with you about you want to grow vegetables in your garden. Does that make sense? You used to. You don't want to go back to growing vegetables. You're talking about turning areas where you've got plants and roses and flowers into a vegetable patch. Does that make sense? Fine? Oh, you just got, okay, but this is saying that if you want to do it, it's a good idea. You've been thinking about doing it. One last thing, she's talking to you about that is a financial situation you need to get on top of. Does that make sense? And he said it might be a case of just moving money about, but it's no big deal. Once you start getting on top of it, you will find everything slots into place. Okay? Do you read the tarot cards? Nothing wrong with tarot cards. You bought tarot cards. She's talking about reading the tarot cards. It's about, how can I put it? You read into them what other people don't read into them. And she said, that's fine, that's good. That's how it's meant to be. It's as though you look at the book and you think, well, I don't agree with that. And she said, well, you've got to realise the book is only somebody else's opinion. And whether you go with that opinion or not, it's down to you. That your reading of the cards may not always be the same as in the book. Does that make sense? This is, don't think the tarot cards or your reading of the tarot cards are wrong. They're exactly right. Okay? I'm going to leave her love with you. Thank you for working with me. Okay?
Got about 15 minutes left.
15.
Yeah, if you want to make use of them, you've got
Okay.
you're in your window, so you can finish being able to.
Yeah, well, that's all right. That's all right. Okay. I haven't been to you, have I? Have I ever been to you?
No.
I might come to you later. Roger, can you take a Roger? It's just honestly, it's just a name. It doesn't have to be anybody important. Just a name. Old Roger. Okay. I do have a man coming forward. I have a man as he comes forward. This man, I should fill with him about 5'11" at my height. As he comes in, he's a man who very confident, very sure of himself, but not in a big-headed way. Very confident that he can walk into a room and talk with anybody. You take a man like that? A man who went out of his way sometimes just to help people, to help them move on in their lives. A man that's just talking to, he was a good talker, he could talk to people, excuse me, and give them confidence. Does that make sense? I don't think this man had any education to do that. I think it's just a natural thing with him, that he gave confidence to other people. I feel this man passed before his time. I don't see him as an old man. Does that make sense? But I also feel with him that in his own life, there was a lot of bad times where he had to fight to get through them. He struggled to get through the bad times. But when he did, he realised that there was other people that had bad times. They didn't always get the help they needed. And he thought that if he ever saw someone, he would stop and help them. Does that make sense? I'm not saying he done it as a professional or anything like that. If he met someone that was on a bad streak or going through a bad time, he would spend time with them, helping them through. Does that make sense? Sort of, okay. I also feel with him that he was very outspoken sometimes. And it didn't win him many friends sometimes. He said, but I don't care. I was saying what I thought was right. And they can't take it, that's their problem, wasn't my problem, it was their problem. If they don't want to face the truth and only saw their truth, fine, I can live with that, because we all have our own truths. He said, but they chose to walk away because I didn't agree with their truths. He said, yeah, fine, I can live that. He said, you've got to start thinking about on them lines that other people have got different truths. You either accept it and say, fine, move on, or if it's so negative, you walk away. It's as though there's someone around you at the moment pretty negative, and he's saying, walk away. Does that make sense? He said, because they're so, you can't get through to negative people. That's their outlook on life, that everything's going wrong, and they've got no encouragement for other people, anything like that. They just see darkness. And you don't need that in your life. Just walk away. Because we all need to see the brightness, not the darkness. Does that make sense? You can be very stubborn sometimes. He says that's no big deal. He said that sometimes if you're wrong, admit you're wrong. That makes you a bigger person. Does that make sense? He's not saying you don't admit you're wrong or nothing like that. He said, but if you're wrong, admit you're wrong. He said, but if your principles are so high and so high that you think you're right, you stick to your principles. Don't change your principles because you think you feel you're being outspoken or overcome. Stick to your principles. He's also talking to you about that you've been wondering about your future and what lies ahead for you in the future. Does that make sense? And he said, just take it as it comes. Don't make plans, because as you know, plans don't always work out. Just wake up in the morning, think to yourself, I'm going to be a better person today than I was yesterday, last week, last month, last year. He said, that's all you need to worry about, being a better person. You don't have to be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect. Just live the life the best way you can. And be proud of yourself, because you've had to overcome some bad things in your life too. Does that make sense? Look forward with happiness. And I'm going to leave that with you. Thank you for working with me. Thank you for a nice evening. Okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Wright. I love it when a plan comes together, and Spirit always have a plan. I've got to say, I know some places get a bit funny. I've got no problem with you sitting down, because it meant that I could zoom right in and everyone at home had a decent close-up picture of the medium for this week, because the chair is the centre of the Zoom. So that you guys were happy, I'm sure. Some lovely comments for you. I'll show you afterwards. But ladies and gentlemen, what a night. Honesty, integrity, and evidence. Daniel Wright, thank you very much. Especially when you put Eunice in her place. And I can say that because she's just gone for a pee.
I should tell her when she comes.
Yeah, you can. Everyone else will. And it's nice to get some confirmation too, isn't it, darling? Friends, nights like this is what it's all about. Coming together, having some upliftment, having some joy, and sharing it with friends. I want to thank you all for being a part of this journey, and I look forward to carrying on this journey wherever it may take us, week in, week out. Please be reminded that next week we have got the medium John Ennis joining us.
Lovely
Please,
man.
pardon?
Lovely man.
Lovely man, absolutely, indeed, absolutely. He's, I've got to tell you, just very, very briefly, Danny and John are the generation of mediums that I used to chair for when I was just starting out. So it's always a pleasure to welcome you guys back because it reminds me of my journey. We always need to be reminded about the beginning of our travels so that we can go back and check. Because sometimes we'll make a different turn. Sometimes it's the right turn. Sometimes we just need to think about it a little bit. And that's so important in this way of life. And I thoroughly enjoy chairing for you because you're a darn sight easier to chair for than John Ennis, that's for sure. You don't give me any grief, he does. I look forward to seeing you next week, John. But of course, friends, do stay behind. We've got sandwiches again. Ham sandwiches and cheesy pizza straws. You are in for a treat tonight. We always like our cheesy pizza straws. And of course, what was that? Oh, yeah, going to say. If you want some cheesy pizza straws, just hold Eileen down for a minute or two. She's not really. I have to tell you though, I'm working on a new recipe for next time. Another version. This time it's Mars bar. There's this on-running thing that I do versions of cheesecake. The first one was a chocolate-covered dairy-free variety. The last one was a kind of a Malteser thing, wasn't it? I can't actually remember what I did now. And this time it will be a chocolate-flavoured Mars bar version. Other chocolate confectionery available too. But yeah, so I'm working on that one this time. But so yes, we've got the cheesy pizza straws and ham sandwiches. Of course, there's the usual biscuits and the 57 varieties of tea and coffee, thanks to our Rusty. So do stay behind for that, and we've got a raffle in a moment. But before we do that, one last time, a big thank you to a very dear friend of ours,
pleasure.
Daniel Wright. Let's join together and close this evening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, divine universal source of all, we thank you. We thank you for a time of unity, of community, of friendship, of love and laughter. And we recognize and acknowledge, Great Spirit, that it is us that can drive this attitude, this feeling, and this hope out into the world. We know that there are times of shadow, of cloud, and of rain in our lives. And as we draw into the winter months with the lights shrinking back on the earth plane, we recognize that we have to be our own light. In this time of winter, let it be an opportunity to shine a light of love, of compassion, community, sympathy, understanding, and a renewed sense of upliftment and listening to each other. For we know that in the world in which we live, listening is so important. So let us be beacons of light, listeners, watchers, and helpers to do your work. From now until we meet again. Amen.
Amen.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, as they say, is that. Thank you all for coming. We are going to say good night to our lovely, lovely friends. Oh, You're moving in. Oh. You're moving in. You'll have to explain to me that what. Oh, is that the Mars bar thing? Oh, Kaz is not very happy because I never made Mars bar squares when she was down. I'll make sure we have some next year. What a beautiful man. Thank you, Daniel Wright, for a wonderful evening.
Oh, thank you. Who was that?
That's Sherry Ann. She's
Oh,
in.
I paid her.
You are truly loved, my friend, and I am in trouble for not making things every week, it seems. So I will rectify that the next time everyone's here. But for now, to all of you out there, from all of us in here, after 3, you know the drill. 1, 2, 3. And God bless you all. We're going to go and win some prizes now.